video. Today we are testing out the top speed on a stock KLX300, so that way we can get a baseline for when we start modding this thing. We are going to make the top speed test as realistic as possible. We're just going to go to the highway and cruise along at cruising speed and act like you're going around past someone, because that's a realistic situation. In some of my other top speed videos, I got a downhill start so that way we could get some momentum once we got up to the upper gears to help overcome some wind resistance, power loss, and my weight myself. I feel like that's a useful piece of information if you're going to pass someone and they start speeding up. When is the KLX300 going to stop pulling? So that's what we're going to find out today. Let's go ahead, hop on the bike, get to a safe place in the backwoods of Mexico, and go ahead and romp on the throttle. Okay, let's go ahead, get to a spot here where we can go ahead and test out the top speed on the KLX here. Now the only thing we have done to this KLX300 here is the lid is removed. For reference, my KLX250 was stage 1 mods and I believe a 13 tooth. Had a top speed of 92, and then with my KLX351 we did hit 100. I'm excited to see what the 300 will do here. This is pretty much just for a baseline. So that way once we get the mods on the bike, we'll be able to go out and see if we improve the top speed at all. I'm guessing somewhere around 85 to 90 if we're lucky. Stock gearing on this is 1440. I'm a 200-pound rider, so a heavier rider, probably around 220-ish geared up. Hopefully we don't have to go too far out into the backwoods of Mexico to get a top speed run in. We're still pulling. If only this traffic wasn't here. So we're going to try and get a two-way average. Hopefully with no traffic, obviously. Most of the reports of the KLX250 were topping out at around 85, 90, depending on whether or not they had the lid of the airbox removed. The cams on the KLX, it should give us a little bit extra push before we lose power up top after 8,000. So I see the comments now, oh, I can hit 90, 95, 100 on my KLX300. I weigh so-and-so and blah, 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 etc. Well, that may be so. If you can, good for you. But guess what? I'm not hitting those speeds, and I'm trying to make this as realistic as possible. You're on the highway trying to pass someone, and it appears to shut down at about 85 miles an hour. That's just about it. We can go push the limits, get a downhill head start, like I said, try and get a little bit more momentum to push us into the upper gears, but again, not very realistic. This is flat ground, like you're going to pass a car. What a nice drift. Haha. So there you have it, two-way average for top speed on the KLX was 86.5 miles an hour. Like I said, we tried to do it as realistic as possible if you're just going out to pass someone. When is KLX going to stop pulling in stock form? So now we have a baseline for when we do get mods on the KLX300, which we're still waiting for on parts, supplier issues. Yeah, well, I'm sure you've all heard it by now. My brother especially really wants to get the bike uncorked, so maybe we'll be able to put something together temporarily here for the KLX. But a couple analytical notes, if you want to call that. So obviously we know we have the power drop off up top with the KLX. If we get the bike to pull towards redline more, obviously 9,500 RPM or even to redline, then that will allow us to achieve a higher top speed, of course, allow us to pull the gearing against wind resistance, all the other factors that contribute to top speed. It's probably going to top out at about 95 miles an hour. Just from my experience with my KLX351, when it was just a big bore, made about 28 wheel horsepower, which is what the KLX300 should make when it's uncorked. The 300 is geared a little bit longer, which could work to its advantage, because that means we're going to be at a lower RPM once we get up to the higher speeds, which is closer to the power drop off compared to the KLX250. But I do plan on gearing it down for my brother for trail use, so the amount that we're going to gear it down, it should actually help up top as well, because we're going to make better use of the power that we do have, shorter gears. But like I said, we have a baseline now. We'll be able to see what happens when we get all the mods done here. Make sure you stay tuned for the upcoming content. I've been getting better on this thing. We have a couple trail videos on that. Of course, you know we have more KLX content coming, and with the 351 as well. But if you enjoyed today's video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up, share it to your friends, those who may enjoy it or find it useful. And of course, if you're not subscribed, go down there, hit that subscribe button, get the bell on. We just hit 3,000. Maybe we can put something together. I'll get to work on that, and we'll see if we can make it happen. But if you're in the motorsports, you're in the right place. With all that being said, join the club, and I'll see you in the next one.